Video from 10x Investor Education. This is my Ocugen 14th video. I have not updated in last 3 weeks. I would like to give an update in this video, an exciting update. Okay, so this week stock is up by 30%. We'll look into why the stock is up by 30%, what factors triggered 30% upside. We really thought stock is almost done. So, and also we look into Canada and WHO approvals and how the efficacy rate with alpha, beta, gamma and delta variants with Ocugen, and also new partnerships to make COVID vaccine. So let's look into the details and let's why see and the stock is up by 30% last week. Disclaimer: 10x Investor Education. I frequently tweet about stocks, RK 10x Investing, and please subscribe to the channel first time if you are here. And also, this is not an advice. I'm not your financial advisor. Please record this as only for entertainment, and below is I describe my position in each stock. Not take it as a financial advice. Okay, so why stock is up 30% in a week? So the stock was ended last Friday $6.40. By the end of this Friday, the stock went up by almost $8.34, which is almost 30% up. So literally, okay, let's get into the negative news first. We'll cover both. So on June 10th, basically when Ocugen submitted master file for EUA approval, what FDA came back and said, recommended that Ocugen should pursue a BLA submission instead of an EUA, emergency use authorization submission. Okay, there are multiple reasons. Technically, FDA can give emergency use authorization if there are not many vaccines. Okay, but right now there are so many vaccines available and there is no need for another emergency use vaccination, because almost these vaccines are there for 5 to 6 months already being in the field. So it makes sense FDA saying, hey, we don't need another emergency vaccine. Why don't you get a general application for whole, which means like a full approval rather than emergency approval. Okay, so which is kind of a negative, and the stock got dumped by almost 40% from $10 to like $6. The reason being is because if there is no immediate emergency authorization, which means Ocugen cannot sell anything in US and probably 2021 as well. And the full FDA approval needs a lot of data. I heard as much as last 1 year data. So which is away from few quarters. There is no way that they can get the data right now, and they are still pursuing what data it needs. So the response from, I think, FDA, Ocugen did not present clearly what FDA is saying, but I think that is the reason why it's not clear and the stock got dumped. And if you look at short ratio around this, as much as 40% in these days, 40% stock got dumped, short sell. Okay, so basically no revenue for Covaxin for at least couple of quarters because of BLA submission. Okay, so let's get into the positive aspects why the stock going up this week. So there are multiple factors that is making Ocugen stock go up, okay, this week. The first of all, as I said, there was huge short ratio. I will show you in the data, and a lot of shorts covering is happened this week. That's one primary reason stock went up a lot, I think. Okay, so next, so Ocugen had a lot of new C-level SVP type of executives in last few weeks, especially last week and before week. So which tells that they are dedicated and they are trying to get this approval, full approval, and they are not stopping. So not on top of C-level SVP type executives, you can see a lot of hiring going on in Ocugen. Okay, so Jubilant HollisterStier was partnered as a vaccine producer in US. Okay, so this is Spokane, Washington based company, a decent company I will show. And this is the one of the most important news. So the reason is, unless they show that there is a strong partner which can work with Ocugen and make this vaccine, there is no way you can sell this. It's impossible. So this is, this partnership is important to it, and the news coming out is also important positive news for the stock. Okay, so again another news came last week was Covaxin is 77% 8% efficacy in phase 3 final results from Bharat Biotech. Okay, so I think last time when they gave interim results for the phase 3, it was around 80%. So this is, in my view, given the number of cases that is happening in in India, this is very important data. I think 78% is pretty good data. Okay, so don't compare with 95% from Pfizer, 90% from Moderna, because those are done when COVID is not that high in US. So still this is pretty high efficacy in my view. So, and Ocugen has been given permission to pursue emergency approval in Canada, and also whatever they sell in Canada, they'll get money out of it. So the same agreement as in US, and also Ocugen, not Ocugen, Bharat Biotech is trying to get WHO approvals, which also important, very important. The reason why is because so World Health Organization emergency authorization is very important because many countries now are using this as a benchmark for allowing vaccinated foreign nationals to travel. So WHO right now has like 6 or 7 vaccines they gave emergency approval, which is more than what US gave. So as long as you get that vaccine, you are a lot of countries they are saying you can travel. So there are like millions of people in India will get vaccine with Covaxin, and I believe, I think it's very important that even for these people to travel, they need WHO approval. And this week, like just 2 days back, they submitted all the data with phase 3 results, and they had a meeting. I'll show you what happened, and it's very important that they get WHO approval. And this will be like another good news, probably factor for the stock to go up, if it comes in next couple of weeks. Okay, another small interesting factor is also joining Russell 2000 3000 index, because if you look at the performance of the stock before Bharat Biotech news, and now it's like went up by 3000% or 4000%. So that's also a factor for the Russell 2000 joining this company. Okay, so Ocugen is in top 100 on Robinhood, and also most of the times in top 10 of Reddit and Wall Street bets. So there is a lot of momentum. I'll show you in a minute. It is one of the most volatile stocks with a lot of other stocks. Okay, so again, as I said, the lot of short covering went on this week, and these are the factors for Ocugen stock to go up as much as 30% this week. So if you look at here, let's start with bad news on January 10th. So basically, Ocugen to pursue BLA path in US for COVID-19 vaccine. So this is exactly what FDA said. FDA provided feedback to Ocugen regarding master file to the company, had previously submitted, and recommended that Ocugen pursue a BLA submission instead of EUA application. What it really means, general authorization, full approval. Okay, so and for its vaccine candidate, and requested additional information and data. So the problem with these companies is they'll give you enough information so that stockholders are not upset or doesn't negative for the stock. Okay, so within legally they do, but they are still in discussions with FDA to understand additional information required to support BLA submission. If the FDA says, hey, we need 1 year of data to give BLA submission, there is no way they don't have that kind of data. Phase 3 is not done for 1 year. So BLA submission is a long way to go, in from couple of quarters. So the stock is going to go up and down based on just on the news right now, I think next couple of quarters, and they can't make in a penny on this unless they get a BLA submission, and then the partner starts actually making vaccines and they sell in US. Okay, that is where the status is. So based on that, that bad news, if you look at investor place analyst, right, Larry Raymer said that it's time to admit defeat and dump Ocugen stock as COVID plays January 16th. Okay, this is all before the stock, when the stock went up almost 40% down. Consider granting an emergency use authorization. Put another agency decision shows that Covaxin chances of ever being approved in the EU somewhere is between infinitesimal and none. Okay, So this is analyst opinion, and is analyst is pretty rated in good tip ranks, but I don't think I agree with him, and still this is a long journey process for getting an approval, not for EUA but general application, because multiple reasons they could give, yes, still could give an approval for BLS. So that is the reason why he is saying negative, and he had sell rating on Ocugen stock. But rest of the analysts, they actually had the hold rating, used to have buy rating, now hold rating, and some analysts have kept the same rating, did not change. Okay, that is the negative news, and that happened after FDA said no EUA emergency authorization for Ocugen. So okay, so this is coming with the positive news. So this is one of the positive news. As I said, the first positive news is their partnership. Okay, the company is putting a lot of time into making sure Covaxin vaccine is effective and should get full approval from the FDA. So it's the basically partnership to make this vaccine, because Ocugen does not have any factory to make any of these vaccines. They have to partner with a company in US to manufacture that Covaxin, and they can sell that vaccine. The manufacturer of Covaxin in US will be Washington State's Jubilant HollisterStier. So this is a company that company agreed, and they have an agreement with them to make this vaccine. And as you can see here, the Israel company, in an integrated company, they do a lot of sterile injectables and ophthalmics. They don't have the vaccines, but like they do a lot of manufacturing and medical, and also they have a lot of employees, and they have factories in India, they have factories in US, and also it is pretty much, you can see here, it's close to $150 million revenue company. So to make Covaxin, it's a lot more big budget. So it all depends on how they get money, and how they can get Jubilant, how they can manufacture. So a lot of still things to be discussed and finalized, I think, from Ocugen and this partner. So that is one thing. But that is, first of all, getting the agreement with the company is a positive news. Okay. So another thing that is been is, so this is one that I was talking about. Bharat Biotech Covaxin has 77% efficacy in phase 3 trials. If we compare other vaccine like Covishield in India, the efficacy rating is actually only 70%. So but still Covishield got WHO approval. The reason being, so as you can see here, AstraZeneca Covishield has 70% approval, but Covishield has actually World Health Organization approval, and people can travel when they take that vaccine. Okay, so that is very important. And Covaxin, given the data of 78%, I think it is very highly significant that they will get WHO approval. It's a matter of few days, and that will be a big factor for Covaxin. And this is purely speculation, I'm not guaranteeing anything, but that is what I think, that's what is going to happen. So again, Covishield, Covaxin both work against all the variants, alpha, beta, gamma, delta variants. And not only this, and even Pfizer or Moderna work some of these variants with a different efficacy rate. So this is not just positive, this is good with lot of vaccines. Okay, this is again Philippines recently, like pretty much like just last Friday, approves emergency use of Bharat Biotech's Covaxin. So this is not directly help Ocugen, but this is also an indicator when a lot of countries give emergency use authorization, that is a factor for WHO to approve, and which is actually helps Ocugen stock in US. So that is another news recently that happened. Again, so as you can see here, Ocugen hired a lot of people at SVP level and C-level executives. As you can see here, Mr. Ken Inchasti, and then Mike Shine, and I looked at a background and a couple of these people. And if you look at for Ken, this person just joined Ocugen as a head marketing and communication director. So head at marketing communication director for Ocugen. He worked like 10 years, and Novo Nordisk is another big company, and also GlaxoSmithKline. Okay, so these are very big companies, and unless they don't believe in Ocugen, they cannot come here. That's important thing to know. So again, this is another news basically showing, you know, June 23rd, Bharat Biotech team met with WHO. They applied for global emergency listing after, because they got phase 3 results, and that is a subsequent step. And that, as I said, this is very important step, the evaluation procedure, and also is crucial. The reason, because countries that do not, so emergency use authorization will allow Bharat Biotech to export vaccines and easier for international travel for Indians vaccinated with Covaxin. Right now, if other airlines and other countries thinking, hey, if you're not vaccinated what WHO approved, that is like a benchmark. So the Covaxin is not approved yet. So this is very important for Covaxin to get approval, and then millions of people can travel freely. So this is what the top priority of Bharat Biotech right now is. Okay. So as I said before, this is June 8th, 9th, and then when actually the news came up that they are not going to get emergency use authorization, next couple of days, the stock tumbled by almost 40%, and it reached a bottom of around $6. Again, if you look at the short ratio around this is close to 35 to 40%. So obviously there's a lot of overreaction. As I agree, this is not good news. This reaction is actually, this is where I thought the stock is dead, it's going to go to $3-4, and the stock actually surprisingly survived, and the shorts have covered in next weeks, and couple following multiple days, lot of good news came up with being the partner and being WHO and all other good news, and actually with shorts, major shorts covering again, the stock came back by 20%, easily 30% last week. So as I said, as you can see here, the short volume on Fintel, and then as you can see here, close to almost, this doesn't have January 11th and 10th, but it has close to 25, 26, 28% of 27% of total stock. So suppose like 100 million volume stocks traded, and like 26 million was shorted. So this is very, very high short ratio for the stock. So when shorts covering, which is only now is 14%, obviously stock will come back. Okay. So this is the news about Ocugen, and these are the updates. So let me know what you think. I'm not giving any opinion on the stock price, and I still have a lot of my Ocugen stock. For long term, I think they'll get BLS approval, long term play, but short term it is going to be very, very volatile. You hope this helps you in Ocugen in last updates in last couple of weeks. Please click the like button, and see you on my next video. Thank you.